All right. So I noticed something this morning, and it was that my bicep tendon, distal bicep tendon, was really sore at about that range when I tried to tense it. And I'm very conscious of pain in tendons and joints because as a physical therapist, as a doctor of physical therapy, if you work through something that's joint pain, tendon pain, it's probably just going to get worse. So here's what I did. And this is how I typically rehab an injury like this in my patients. You can see here, if you ignore the two dogs playing, I'm restricting my range of motion. I'm not doing pull-ups today because that would have loaded too much on that biceps tendon. But what you'll see, what I do here is I stick to a pain-free range of motion, right? So from here, just before 90 degrees, and then you'll notice I hold right before I get that pain. Isometrics are a great way to tell your body how to lay down new tissue and to lay down new tissue, especially like collagen and the different fibers that make up tendons. And so when you reach if you can ignore the dogs fighting again, they're just playing. If you can teach the body to lay down those fibers in the right way, strengthen that tendon, you'll get better results without causing irritation or inflammation in the tendon. Eccentric and concentric movements will increase inflammation a lot more. So what I'm doing here, getting to the top of the motion, coming down just right before I get pain, holding as long as I can, and then coming back up, dropping back down, hold, and then coming back up, making sure I don't feel pain in that biceps tendon. So I can still train strength, I can still train the muscles I need to. I'm just restricting the range of motion because I have not exactly an injury, but some pain, right? So kept it really simple, just stuck to 3 sets for that while I was trying to manage 2 golden doodles. Next, I just took a slant board. I had done the first Kung Fu class that I've done for a really long time, a couple weeks because I was on vacation the day before. So my legs were a little sore. I didn't want to load them with high loads and lower reps today. I just wanted to get some blood flow, especially into the quads. So I just took a slant board and decided to do like feet together squats. And the reason I have the slant board is because number 1, it makes it a little more comfortable. And number 2, I wanted to load my quads a little bit more. So that's the reason that I did that. And I don't typically do high rep ranges, kind of like a lot of calisthenics people will teach, kind of like K Bogues, as I've mentioned before. I take a lot of inspiration from him. But the reason I don't typically do high repetition lower body movements is, oh, look, it's our friends and they're playing and totally not interrupting. But the reason is in martial arts, in Kung Fu, which is the martial art that I do, there is a lot of leg work, kind of in a high intensity interval training type of way. And so I usually save strength workouts for, I save higher load, lower reps for my strength workouts. That first set of feet together squats, I noticed my hips weren't quite working the way I wanted them to. So I took a little bit of time to try to stretch my rectus femoris, which is typically the problem, especially on my left side. And of course, we had to get the dogs in here because they're freaking crazy. But they don't get to be together a lot. We're just dog sitting. So the darker one, Gracie girl, that's our dog. She just wants to play. And Tiny, the one we're dog sitting, just wants to be around humans and be up in their face. So really fun for me. So after that stretch, keeping in mind, I'm really not loading my quads and my legs as much today with higher loads. Going in for a second set. I believe the first set I got around 25 to 30. And then this set I got a little bit less. Hey, look, you can hear Gracie girl now. Hey, Grace, what's up? Um, and so really today I was just getting blood flow through the quads, getting some mobility in the joint, reaching full range of motion for those because they weren't painful. The joints weren't painful. They were just sore. So that's my reasoning here. And after I did that stretch, I did it on both sides. I only showed you the one because it gets pretty boring. But you can see I'm able to get my knees closer together, and I could feel my glutes squeezing a little better, which just tells me that like that rectus femoris needed a little bit of input to say, oh, okay, this is how I lengthen, this is how I contract, right? And you'll see I get a little bit further away from the knees being completely together. That's not really a strict thing. I just like to play around with different positions when I do squats because there's no one way to do a squat. There's a few wrong ways to do a squat, but as long as you're not overloading the tissues in a way that they're not used to or prepared for, typically fine with various knee positioning, valgus, varus when you're doing a squat. And so we get those pups in again. You're going to see them a lot more. Well, actually, maybe not. They were pretty tired, as you'll see in the next set of exercises. And next is going to be dips. So right after this, we move on to dips. And you'll notice something I do with dips. Typically, before I start, I reach this end range of motion. I lift my feet off the ground, and I just kind of like lock in that end range. And just prepare my anterior deltoids and pecs for the amount of strain I'm going to put on them. Because I have really mobile shoulders, I have a really good range of motion with my dips. So I want to make sure I keep that and actually make it stronger. So here, nice and slow through these dips, make sure I lock out at the top, get as low as I can, and then pushing back up. So again, my biceps tendon, as I mentioned before, was really bothering me. And so I didn't want to overload that with eccentric, concentric work. But dips, shoulders felt fine, triceps felt fine. So I decided to load them like I normally load the pushing movement. Right? I chose to do rings today because I wanted to work my stability a little bit more. And honestly, I just really like ring dips. They're super fun. All right, so that was the first set. Rested for a few minutes. All of these I rest for like 3 minutes in between. Going in for that second set, I'll get a lot less reps on this one because I am starting to become fatigued. And that's why I'm making sure I'm resting enough. But I really encourage people, if you have the shoulder mobility to complete this movement, slowly working up to being able to load your whole body weight in that end range of motion for the dips. It is so important. It can not only prevent a lot of injuries as far as like, front of the shoulder, which is what a lot of people's problems are in the shoulder, but it'll just make you feel more stable. And it can actually help if you care about your anterior delts and your pecs getting bigger. That end stretch position in that loaded position will be a really good stimulus for muscle growth in the front of the shoulder and the pec. All right, so that was my workout for today and how I kind of manage my hurts, my injuries, if you prefer that. And I'm going to leave you with the aftermath of these little pups trying to work out with me. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, you guys can't keep up with me. Look, you're over there resting. I'm working my butt off. You guys can't hang. You guys are just little lazy bones. You ladies are just lazy bones. Whoop. Whoop. Whoop.